All right, we should be good. Y'all know what to do. It is that time. We are back in the building. Y'all help me out. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. We're about to get into it. We're gonna have a great show. I'm looking forward to chopping it up with y'all. Hopefully we're good. Everybody can see me. Looking all crispy and clean on the screen. And if you can, welcome. Welcome to another YouTube live stream and another episode of the ClassE Morning Show. I'm your host, ClassE, at patreon.com/ClassEbeats. By the way, the link is in the description as well as in the pinned comment in the chat. And today we've got a lot to get into. We're going to be all over the place. We're going to talk about this mass shooting that was prevented right here in Atlanta. Absolutely crazy. Tyrone Blackburn is finally getting arrested and indicted. I'm sure our guy Joe Tacopina is having fun with that. We're going to get into Michael Proctor, Letitia James. We got it all for you today on the show. But before we get into that, I got to say what's up to the people, man. Shout out to everybody who's in here. We've got, of course, my awesome, amazing Amy in here to start today. Les Cleaver, Slim Life, A-Fits, In Blue, Virginia Wiley, got Bombay. In here, my guy, the big dog, J Money, is up in this thing. Kara Hampton, good to see you in here as well. And I'll be saying good morning and what's up to y'all as we go throughout the show. Shout out to Taco Tuesday here on your day. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. So I do have one favor to ask y'all before we get started, and that is that you please like the video. Likes are free. It helps the channel out. It helps us continue to grow. Lets the algorithm know that you guys are having a good time over here. You're enjoying the show. Shares the videos that we release here, this exact specific live stream, and the entire channel with more people. So if y'all could, please make sure that you like the video on your way in. There's already 17,000 of y'all. I'm saying 17,000. All right, we're gonna claim it. 17,000 of you that have liked the video. Thank y'all so much. All right, if you could like the video on your way in, I appreciate everybody who's done that so far. Also, if you're feeling extra generous, you can share the video as well. Click the share button. It's got an arrow next to it, curved pointing to the right. That allows you to share the video out on Instagram, X, Facebook. You can even share it on text and to your group chat as well. So thank you to those of you who do that. I see so many of y'all sharing over on X. I appreciate y'all going the extra mile and doing that as well. And I will be giving a special shout out and a special thank you to those of you who send in super chat. All right, first up, we've got my guy Les Cleaver in here. One of the hardest working men I know. He's always over there working hard. He says with the 5-bomb, it's Taco Tuesday. May all of you have a great day and be blessed in all you do. God loves you just as you are. Amen. And amen. Thank you, Les Cleaver, for the love. I appreciate it. And thank you for the support as well. All right. J Money's always reminding us about Amy's channel. Y'all see Amy in here every single show working super hard. Make sure that you go and support her on her channel as well. We were just over there watching the premiere. She's got some great, enjoyable content. It's actually absolutely entertaining. And if you haven't checked it out, you're definitely missing out. So make sure you click the link that J Money dropped in the chat for you, as well as in the comments as well as in the chat. And make sure you go over there, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time that Amy goes live or post a new video or premieres a new video. All right. So thank you shout out to J Money for dropping that in the chat, reminding y'all to support Amy. And we're going to go ahead and get into it. So when I say we have a lot to cover today, that is an understatement. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the show because we've got a lot to get into. We're going to start with something I wasn't expecting to cover. Especially wasn't expecting to cover because it happened right here in Atlanta, not far from where I am right now. So if y'all haven't heard this story, get ready for it because it's about to get crazy. All right, check this out. So right here in Atlanta, right here in Fulton County, there was a mass shooting that was actually prevented by the Atlanta Police Department and the Atlanta Airport Security. So shout out to them for keeping us safe around here. And eventually we've got to give a shout out to the family of this man who actually were the ones who tipped off the police to what was about to happen. This story is absolutely insane. If you haven't heard it yet, check it out. Shout out to Eric Daughtry over on X. He says, breaking news. A mass shooting at the Atlanta airport was just prevented from happening. Police found the felon inside the airport and found the AR-15 while searching his car. This could have been so bad. The felon did a FaceTime call with his family and telling him his plans to shoot up the Atlanta airport. Someone reportedly notified the police, who then found the suspect's car outside the airport. It was blocking traffic. Thank God that he didn't get through. All right, this is absolutely crazy. Let's check this out, see what happened.
Planning to shoot up the Atlanta airport today, the world's busiest airport, armed with an AR-15. And that suspect reportedly did get inside the airport before police quickly stopped him. So here's a live look at Hartsfield-Jackson right now. And here's what we know. Our affiliate source says that this felon did a FaceTime call with family members, allegedly telling them his plans to shoot up the Atlanta airport. Someone reportedly notified police after that call, who then found the suspect's car outside of the airport. It was blocking traffic, but the suspect was not inside. Police reportedly did end up finding the felon inside of the airport. They grabbed him, took him into custody, and authorities reportedly found that AR-15 while searching his car. Our Fox affiliate is also reporting that they had a camera at the airport all morning. It was very busy, and nobody saw anything. So it seems this whole incident was kept pretty quiet, but we're hoping to learn more from APD very soon. There is a press conference scheduled for about 15 minutes from now, but obviously a lot of questions as to how this supposed convicted felon got his hands on that high-powered semi-automatic rifle. And this, of course, all happening during a government shutdown where airports nationwide are struggling to stay staffed. And if you know anything about the Atlanta airport, you know it's always busy regardless, even without that government shutdown. So back out here live, thankfully authorities reportedly did stop a potential horrific situation. But again, hoping to learn more from APD at the top of next hour.
Okay, and we're actually going to hear from APD right now. Again, salute and big major shout out to APD for the job they did here. Very well done, moving and executing quickly, because we've seen things happen, even with what we've been covering with Charlie Kirk. You even talk about the president getting shot at. People saw things. Nobody said anything. Oh, there's a man up on the roof. This is a big event. He's got a good line of sight to the speaker here. I wonder if something's going on. Oh, well, and people just keep going. This man's family found out what he alleged he was planning to do. They called the police and they did the right thing. Let's hear what the mayor of Atlanta has to say, and then we'll hear from APD shortly.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens, and I'm here along with my colleagues to talk about an incident that could have been tragic but was averted. So we're joined here by the COO of this city, our chief of police, as well as Captain Shapiro from Sparacchio from Cartersville Police, as well as our FBI lead, Mr. Brown, as well as our we have Ricky Smith from Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. And we are here to talk about an incident that occurred at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta. Shearbon will give you a lot of details about
looks like they had a glitch in the stream. Sorry, guys.
27 or more lives could have been lost today.
It would have been way more.
An individual came into Hartsfield-Jackson, and after being reported coming out of Cartersville, Georgia, that had mental challenges. This individual, thankfully, his family went to the Cartersville police and shared with them what was going on, and they alerted APD, and APD and the airport were aware, and this crisis was averted. But this individual did have a semi-automatic weapon, and this individual was mentally challenged. And when you have those combinations together, it can turn out to be deadly.
Yeah.
People that are mentally challenged, and he happened to also have been a felon from a few years back. So he's a felon with a semi-automatic weapon, and he's got mental challenges, and he's approaching the world's busiest and most efficient airport. This crisis, we're thankful to God and to good information and good intel and good people for this crisis being averted. Just a few weeks ago, we dealt with the CDC shooting that occurred in this city, where another individual coming out of Kennesaw had a mental challenge and a high-powered weapon and ended up killing a DeKalb County police officer and striking the CDC, as well as striking fear into the communities around. We also had an individual just last year in Midtown that was also seeking mental help with his parents, but ended up causing loss of life in that regard as well. We also had a Four Seasons hotel and residence, an individual with high-powered weapons and a mental health diagnosis. So what you're seeing is we are experiencing across the nation.
What we're
even
seeing
in
is
this
it's
great
easy to
city,
get
where
weapons.
Guns and mental health challenges going together can propose a deadly scenario. But we're thankful that in this situation today, this crisis was averted. And so now I would turn it over to our police chief, Darren Schierbaum, to be able to give you more details about all of the aspects of this situation. Chief.
Thank you, Mr.
Wow.
Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. Appreciate you all being here.
Shout out to
As the
APD,
Mayor
man.
stated, we are here today to announce and arrest an individual that posed a threat to our airport, but also to note that because of the community, in case of the family, as well as the joint collaboration of law enforcement, that a tragedy was indeed averted. The Atlanta airport, the busiest in the world, most efficient, remains safe. Each and every day we have a range of resources in place to keep the airport safe, including our special response team and the many officers that are assigned there. That team trains regularly for scenarios just like today. And I want to thank the men and women of the airport for their response. We have taken in custody and have under arrest a Billy Cagle, age 49, resident of Cartersville, Georgia.
And we're going to see a picture of him here shortly.
Approximately 9:40 this morning, the Atlanta Police Department was alerted by the Cartersville Police Department of a potential threat at the airport. Cartersville Police Department was alerted by the family of Mr. Cagle that he was streaming on social media, that he was headed to the airport, in their words, to shoot it up. And the family stated that he was in possession of an assault rifle. What we didn't know is that Mr. Cagle had already arrived at the airport. In fact, we know that he arrived at 9:29, going to the South Terminal, and that he entered the airport shortly thereafter at 9:31. That time, we do not believe he was armed. He entered the South Domestic Terminal, and from video we will show you he seemed to be very interested in the TSA check-in area, which you can see was heavily crowded with travelers. At approximately 9:54, officers of this department, armed with a photograph of Mr. Cagle, and being provided up-to-date information from their sergeant as she spoke to the Cartersville Police Department and a family member, was able to locate Mr. Cagle and take him into custody. He had arrived at the airport in a Chevy flatbed pickup that was part of the lookout provided to us by Cartersville PD. That vehicle was parked immediately outside. When we went to that vehicle, we found inside a Springfield AR-15 assault rifle, a 5.56 St. Victor model with 27 rounds of ammunition. We did have a tragedy averted today. I, just a short while ago, spoke to two officers of this department and thanked them, because if it were not for Officer Gibson and Officer Banks, and if it were not for their Sergeant Jones that was providing them, I do believe that Mr. Cagle was headed back to his truck to retrieve it, and I do believe he was likely to use that weapon inside the crowded terminal that he had just seen.
Yeah, and he was probably going to scope it out, see what happened, see where everything was, make sure there wasn't any security there, and then he was going to come back in, do what he was going to do. I mean, it's almost like it was hardly in the nick of time that they found this guy. Scary to think what could have happened.
We are working closely with the District Attorney of Clayton County, District Attorney Mosley, and we have charged Mr. Cagle.
I was just up there on Sunday.
Criminal attempt to commit aggravated assaults, possession of a firearm in the commission of a felony, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. We're here today briefing you on a success and not a tragedy, because a family saw something and said something. A family knew they had a family member in crisis. They knew they had access to firearms, and they were on social media. This is something we've seen across the country time and time again. Social media postings, people with an awareness, individuals with access to a firearm. But today, the family said something. The local police in Cartersville quickly notified the Atlanta Police Department. And the Atlanta Police Department, using its resources at the airport, took the individual into custody. So today is how it should work. Community, law enforcement, dedicated men and women wearing the uniform and trained to respond when their community needs them. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, for making sure we have the resources.
Did an amazing job.
And keep our city safe. And thank you to the men and women of the Atlanta Police Department, particularly our airport section, for what you did today. And now I'm going to turn the podium over to our representative from Cartersville, Captain Sparcio, for comments from him. Thank you.
Good morning. So this morning, just after 9:30, we were alerted by family members.
It's so crazy.
That Mr. Cagle was en route to somewhere in the Atlanta area. They weren't sure. Ultimately, we found out it was the Atlanta airport, and that he had the intention to inflict harm to as many people as he could. We were able to get in touch with the Atlanta Police Department. Our investigators were able to quickly determine what kind of vehicle he was in, get very recent pictures of that vehicle, and get all those over to the Atlanta Police Department in a timely manner, and ultimately get this, what could have been a crisis, averted. And it's because of the hard work, dedication of the excellent investigators we have, the patrol officers that initially took the report, that they were able to take care of that. We are familiar with Mr. Cagle. He's got a criminal history in Cartersville, but again, no one would ever see anything like this. See something, say something, really did work.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Thank you so much, Captain. Thank you to Cartersville Police Department for your excellent cooperation and coordination and timely, quickness in telling us about this particular individual and the harm that he wanted to inflict. Thank you, Chief Shearbaum, and your team here at APD to receive that call, to have great relationships across the region, to be able to continue to stay in great contact with individuals and organizations and other police departments across this region so that they would collaborate with us. Thank you all for this. Those in the community, the family, thank you for sharing. See something, say something did work. And so we are standing here talking about a tragedy averted versus us standing here telling you about 27 plus lives that were lost or injured at the world's busiest airport. So I will now take.
There's some video we're going to show.
Yeah, and they're going to show some video up here shortly. But again, thank you. Thank y'all for keeping us safe. I was just at this airport on Sunday. Just out this airport on Sunday. Scary, man. Scary to think. You never know. You never know what could happen. You never know what could be going on around you. Thank God for this family that did the right thing. Thank you for the APD for taking it seriously and moving quickly. Because who knows what could have happened? Jeez, it's scary. Scary, man.
Media, if you can direct your cameras to the screen, you have a video on Chief, if you can just come up and kind of take a look at the video and just walk us through it shortly.
Again, this comes from the investment that we placed at Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson International Airport. You see the individual arriving. He's parked his vehicle that was given to us by Cartersville PD, the Chevy flatbed pickup truck. They also had a dog in the vehicle with them. This is occurring at approximately 9:29, and then he will enter the airport at the Silk Proctor at 9:31.
Wow. Just walking around, probably.
The entering top left, you see him right here in the blue shirt. Right here.
Look at him. Just looking like a regular dude.
The TSA area has high interest in that area, and you'll see the number of travelers that are there that are preparing to depart. Our officers, armed with this photograph, are able to pick him out of that crowded area and are able to take him to custody.
He said, I'm just here.
Mr. Cagle's vehicle is just outside his doors. He was clearly moving from the area that we potentially scouted and was moving back toward that area.
His vehicle was just outside the doors.
Determined he had no injuries, and he would be later be transported to his detention area. And then we're going to have next the weapon that is located inside the vehicle.
Look at this officer. Come on, man.
The officers at this time are handcuffing him because of his size, which you have in the description. They did require to use 2 sets of handcuffs to be able to properly secure him. Fortunately, there were no firearms on him.
They
at this time.
called
His
him
weapon
fat.
is outside in his vehicle.
What's his size? He's about
6'3", 320 pounds.
It's a big boy.
And again, this is Officer Banks and Officer Gibson. There. This is the vehicle. Matched the description perfectly given by Cartersville PD. It pulled up right to the south, a domestic terminal. Parked here, would go down and go into another door. And then
Which I'm surprised. Again, I've been to this airport hundreds of times. I'm surprised this was allowed, because usually you pull up like this, and they're going to have you out of there in 2 seconds. There's going to be an amazing airport worker that's going to look at you. Hey, we're not doing that today. You got to move.
The officers approaching it, and then they'll recover the firearm, the semi-automatic assault rifle that he had with him.
Look at
There were
that.
27 rounds that could have been fired from this weapon inside the airport.
Guys, I was
Exactly why
just
we're here
there
today, to encourage
on
citizens to do
Sunday.
their part should they ever become aware, and again acknowledge the family, acknowledge our partners at Cartersville Police Department for their work. Thank you, Captain.
Wow. Absolutely amazing.
Ready for questions?
All right, at this time, we are now ready for questions.
We will start over here, we'll start with Taisha, and we will move to my left. Taisha?
So this question may be for Chief Shearbaum, I'm not sure, but had he just went into the airport with the gun initially,
It would have been
how
over.
difficult would it have been to stop him if he didn't do that with like a dry run, maybe to see where he was going to go?
I don't want to go into the full capabilities that we have at the airport. We prepare for this very scenario. We tabletop for it. Our special response team trains.
Guys, I do not want to spread fear, but I feel this personally because, as I said, I was just there. I was just there on Sunday. I was just there less than 2 days ago, and there's nothing that could have prevented him. I don't know what this man's purpose was, what he would have thought, but he could have pulled up to the airport, immediately stepped out of his car, and started spraying, as they say. And it would not have been good. What can you do to prevent that? Nothing at this point. Anybody can pull up to the airport and walk in. He can get out of an Uber and walk in. He can pull his car there and walk in. There's nothing that could have been done. Again, I'm not the APD. I just know from a common sense standpoint and being someone who's been up there hundreds of times, you can't. There's nothing you can do.
For just this occurrence. What you didn't see in the video
People
was
would have
close by
died.
officers armed with rifles themselves. Any of you that travel through our airport commonly see them in the atrium. That's why they're there. You see officers with sidearms that are ready, prepared to move out. So should that scenario ever rise, as it has elsewhere in the city, we're going to be ready for it through training, for proper equipment and capability. We just pray that we're never called upon to do that. This is what a proper response by citizens and by law enforcement should look like.
Somebody would have died.
Chief, do you know how he got the weapon? Was it a weapon that he purchased legally?
The investigation has been ongoing since this morning, about 10 o'clock, and so we're still working through that. We are joined today by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, so our federal authorities will be assisting us in determining how he obtained the firearm, which he was not able to legally possess. And that's one of the charges he's been
Shout out to the FBI.
11? Veronica?
Yes, so the family alerted you to what Mr. Cagle possibly had in mind. Did they say why he wanted to do this, some sort of motive? And also, how much ammunition did he have in addition to what was in the record?
Right, the investigation will determine if there was a motive. Right now, we've recovered 27 rounds. He had the capability to fire through that weapon.
Scary, man.
We'll have that provided for you at a later time. Right now, I do not have that right in front of me. I do know there was a drug possession arrest that was pretty significant that occurred in Cartersville prior to this.
CBS ABC?
Yes, Leandra had here with CBS News Atlanta. What mental health challenges was he suffering from?
I'm not going to provide that information. I will say this, mental health
They
care
will.
is vital to a good society and preventing violent crime. And that the family was aware that there was a need there, reach out. We hope the courts will take all that in consideration as they move forward, and I do not want to share that. I think a family was brave to step forward, and I want to commend
That's
the
fair.
bravery
We'll
of the
find out,
family
though.
for what they've done today.
So in the video that we saw, the guy goes around the Delta area of the South Terminal. If you actually go towards the TSA area and look around there and I guess.
Yes, sir. We have other video of him being in that space.
Has the suspect spoken with investigators, and if so, what is he saying?
Investigation is still ongoing. I cannot release any information that he may have given to our investigators.
All right, we'll start back up. We'll start with you and work
Wow.
back down. Another question?
Of course, you guys mentioned about the response time. How fast were it? We saw the officer with the phone, picture of the guy.
Yeah.
How fast were you guys able to identify him and see him in the airport?
Certainly, the timeline is we received the call at 9:40, and we had him in custody at 9:54. And as you can see, that was a very crowded area, and the officers, you can see in their hands, had the photograph. They were scouring
15
areas,
minutes.
Just one of 2 officers. We had officers all out the airport looking. And so I do want to commend them and just thank those officers for doing what Atlanta expected them to do on this Monday morning.
CBS Atlanta?
15 minutes from the time they received the call.
ANF? Question?
Just think if that family member had hesitated,
Seeing this,
waited to call.
Cagle was making at the time.
I have no, ma'am.
How did the family know he was going to ATL?
He said he was.
Who told them?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, next question, Taisha. And then we'll go
Sheesh.
Chief, what happened when, so we were out there when we weren't quite sure what was happening, and the way the truck was positioned, he had ran over a cone, and then it was like, just a very odd position. What happened from the moment he parked that truck that way until, you all were in that video showing him?
Yeah, so he parks at 9:29. He enters the South Terminal at 9:31. And then he is walking around the area. He goes to the TSA checkpoint area. He is scanning that area, and he's walking back to the truck, we believe, when the officers encounter him.
Wow.
And then that occurs at 9:54.
Because I just know how on it officers are when you park right there, so I was just wondering if anybody.
That's what I
seen him
just
park
said.
His truck right there, because it seems like there were 2 minutes where he was able to get lost.
Right. Our priority was to find the person, ma'am, and that's what we did.
All right, Cody, did you have a question?
Yeah, they would have been like, nah.
I know the airport this morning, especially in that TSA agent line for long.
They're about to give these Ubers hell after this.
Online with the TSA checkpoint.
We protect the world's busiest but most efficient airport each and every day through many holidays, sporting events. We ensure the airport has the proper staffing.
Wow.
The mayor gives us the tools to make sure our police department has the equipment they need for a wide range of emergencies. So what we've done in the past, we're going to continue to do. We'll always strive for improvement where we need to. We can scale up the resources at the Atlanta Police Department as necessary. But the key to success, as it was today, is to see something, say something. While we have a number of police officers on this police department, what is out there at a great capacity is law-abiding citizens, citizens that care, and citizens that want to be in a safe place. And if those citizens speak up, whether it's a family member, a friend, a neighbor, and say something's not right here, this is how we save lives as a society. Today is how it is supposed to work.
AJC?
It really is.
I misheard you, but just to confirm, was there a dog also involved?
There was a dog in that truck. We've got that. Animal has been turned back over to the family and is in good care and was not harmed at any point today.
With that
Family members there with him?
He traveled there alone. Yes, sir. He traveled there
And there
alone.
wasn't a daughter or family member? who
But
got
we were
involved?
communicating via phone.
Wow. Shout out to the APD, man, doing great work. Thank God that family said something, because can you imagine 5 minutes gone by, he walks out to his car. I don't want to think about it because, again, this hits home. I'm right here in Atlanta, was just there. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. Thank God it didn't turn out worse. Wow. Shout out to the gang in here, man. Y'all are amazing. We've got over 1,000 of y'all up in this thing. Thank you to everyone who's liked the video. 17,000 of you liked the video. I appreciate it. We got a couple super chats I want to read, and we're going to keep it moving because, as I said, we got a lot to get to today. Shout out to Mary in here, always showing love. Hopefully you had a safe trip, Mary. She said, made it from MO to MS last night. Good. Headed to Georgia now. Thanks for the amazing listening content. Yep, glad you made it safe, Mary. Appreciate you being here and supporting as well. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's scary. I fly a lot, headed to the airport now in Atlanta. See? What? Yeah. Listen, I've been to that airport hundreds of times, and that's putting it lightly. Scary out here. But thank God they're doing a good job. I'm sure there'll be more security in place. And you'll have to let us know, Mary, when you get there, how many seconds they're gonna let you sit up there and get out of your Uber, because probably not a lot. It was bad before. It's gonna be really bad now. They see your car stop and they don't see someone either getting in or getting out, and you're just sitting there. They gonna be on you. All right. Also, shout out to my awesome, amazing Amy with the super sticker, giving the cake, man. Shout out to Amy with the amazing cake. I appreciate it. Reminding me that it's almost time to eat. I'm ready for it. I wish every police department was on their game like the APD. Well, they're not perfect, but they do get a lot of things right. I will say that. Yeah, APD, we've got our good days and our bad days, and y'all have heard we've talked about APD a lot here on this channel, but we'll give them their credit today. All right, speaking of arrests, we got to talk about what's going on with Diddy. I don't know if y'all have heard this news about what's going on with our guy Diddy, but man, it's looking like he might get out of there. What? Should I put Trump up there, or should I put President Trump up there, or Diddy? I don't know. We're gonna put President Trump and give him some shine today. This story is absolutely insane. So in case you haven't heard, the rumors about Diddy possibly getting a pardon, well, it seems like that's passed. But now, recently, rumors are circulating that President Donald Trump may be commuting Diddy's sentence. Diddy may serve hardly any time in prison after this. We're going to get into the details. We're going to actually give you some background on what's going on here. I found the video from where the president was kind of waffling about whether he was going to pardon Diddy or not. And he's like, I don't know. So we'll listen to that, and then we'll see what's actually going on here. If this happens, I will be the first to admit that I was absolutely wrong, because I will be shocked if this goes down. Let's see what Fox 4 has to say about this. Check this out.
President Trump may be considering commuting the sentence for Sean Diddy Combs, and K-Fed is revealing new details about the end of his marriage to Britney Spears. TMZ's Branson Quirk is live in Los Angeles. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How you guys doing?
We are doing great. Let's start with Diddy. So he's serving a 50-month prison sentence for prostitution-related charges.
It'll be
he's
17
served
months.
13 months, and with credit would get out in about 2 years. But you guys have a source in the White House who says Diddy could actually be out as early as this week if the president gets involved.
That would be crazy.
Right, exactly. TMZ, we spoke to a high source there at the White House that told us that Donald Trump is vacillating, really considering pardoning Diddy. And as of this morning, the White House did reject that is a true statement, but TMZ is currently standing by that statement as of this morning. We spoke to someone that is very important at the White House, and that's what they currently say. So the White House is saying one thing, and then this official is saying another at this very moment. And yes, Diddy, with that 50-month sentence, he's been in for about 13 months now. So with time served and with credit, he could get out. His legal team is saying like 2 years and some change. But we do know also that Diddy, just in the last 24 hours, did also officially file to appeal the case. We know that he was making this promise. His team was making that promise to do this. And just within 4 to 6 weeks, we'll see an official brief for this appeal.
Yeah, that'll be
we'll
interesting
stay tuned.
too.
So Kevin Federline has a new tell-all memoir, and if you're going to tell all as K-Fed, it's going to be about Britney Spears and that relationship, including the moment when he said enough is enough. What is he saying about that phone call?
Well, just in the past.
Yeah, we're not worried about Britney Spears. Let's go back and do a little bit of a rewind and see when the president addressed this and what he actually had to say. So this was what President Trump had to say when he was asked about pardoning Diddy. Check this out.
They're wasting a lot of money if they're going to continue with that nonsense.
And this one's a little bit more of a page 6 question, but back when you hosted The Apprentice, you mentioned once in 2012 that Diddy was a good friend of yours back then. He has since found himself in some very serious legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
Well, nobody's asked. You had to be the one to ask, Peter, but nobody's asked. But I know people are thinking about it. I know they're thinking about it. I think some people have been very close to asking. First of all, I'd look at what's happening, and I haven't been watching it too closely, although it's certainly getting a lot of coverage. I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, that relationship busted up. From what I read, I don't know. He didn't tell me that, but I'd read some little bit nasty statements in the paper all of a sudden. You know, it's different. You become a much different person when you run for politics and you do what's right. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well because of what we're doing. So it's not a popularity contest. So I don't know. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me.
Mr. President, now, I'm gonna have to call cap on that one to my guy, the President of the United States. I think it has a difference when it comes to the pardons, and I don't foresee the president pardoning Diddy. Now, with the commuted sentence, that's a little bit different, and it could potentially happen. Let's see what TMZ has to say about this. They're the ones who initially reported this from their White House source, and I want to know what you guys think about this. All right, check this out. TMZ stands by their story after the White House denies Trump's considering commuting Diddy's sentence, possibly this week. Let's see what they have to say. All right, so this just happened today. First thing this morning, the White House Communications Office is saying that TMZ is lying. All right, but they say we stand by our story. Our story is accurate. Then tell us who the source is. They're not going to do that. Donald Trump is considering commuting Diddy's sentence as early as this week, according to a high-ranking White House official. According to our source, the president is vacillating on a communication. Why they would use that word, I don't know. We're told some of the White House staff are urging Trump to not commute the sentence, but other sources state the obvious. Trump will do what he wants, and we're told that Trump could see Diddy free as early as this week. All right. Do y'all think it's going to happen? I don't think it is still. Diddy is serving a 50-month prison sentence for violating the Mann Act 2 times, actually. He served 13 months with credit. He could get out in around 2 years, 17 months, they're saying. But none of that matters if Trump commutes his sentence. As you know, Trump commuted the sentence of former Congressman George Santos last Friday, and Amy reported on this over on X as well. If you missed that, make sure you go follow her. to stay up to date on the latest news. She's got a lot of great information over there, and she's posting constantly and gave some specific details about George Santos. And we're actually going to get into that in a second. What they also say is, we know almost immediately after Diddy was sentenced earlier this month, his legal team was in touch with a high-ranking White House official who has the ear of the president regarding regarding Diddy being commuted, or his sentence being commuted, or a pardon. Just days later, Trump told the media he was aware of the ask. All right, Diddy fell out of Trump's graces when he supported Biden in 2020, but Trump did not slam the door shut on showing Diddy mercy. We're told it's now squarely on the table. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Let's hear what happened with George Santos here, because I find this very interesting. Don't have a lot of information on what happened to George, but we're going to hear about it here and see if maybe there's some similarities between his case and Diddy's case. Let's see.
When you're going through prison and through the process, it's you're angry throughout the process. When you get to prison, it's sobering. But what really did it for me was being in solitary confinement in the special housing unit of FCI Ferriton for 41 days. That broke me. It put me in a position where I had to start reliving and almost like a movie of my whole life in the former years of how I ended up in this position. And obviously religion plays its big role on it. I mean, I really atone, I would say, with my own religious beliefs and square that away with God. But most importantly, it was the mental health aspect of it. I learned that the hate, that the poison that hate is, wrecked me, wrecked my whole life. Lying, being duplicitous, disingenuous, obfuscating, none of that is worth it. It's like, what was I doing? I look back at past statements and I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that I allowed myself to be so consumed with hate that I put myself in this position. So now it's about purpose. I found a purpose, and that purpose is helping troubled youth, helping prison reform so people can actually be rehabilitated. So prison itself was angering, but solitary confinement for 41 days and being completely dehumanized really is where you put everything into perspective.
George, I've heard you say that you felt like that 41 days that you spent in solitary was completely unwarranted, and that you were placed there out of some revenge by the warden. Why do you feel like the warden had it out for you?
I was documenting my prison journey, and that was what it was supposed to be. But I started finding so many irregularities, from black mold to expired food to money being misappropriated and taken away from prisoners' rehabilitation process. And while the warden is buying 85-inch, multiple thousands of dollar TVs for her private office. So that's I started writing about it. So an opportunity arose when an old death threat that was investigated back in 23, like the countless others, hundreds of death threats that I had, the Capitol Police had investigated this unfounded, uncorroborated threat that there was a conspiracy with powerful elite politicals and socialites that wanted to kill me, but they never actually did because it was fake. But now all of a sudden they were going to break into prison to kill me. I've heard of breaking out of prison, guys, but breaking into prison, I find it to be very hard to believe.
Shout out to George, man, up out of there. What do y'all think? Is Diddy going free? Is the president going to commute his sentence? I'm not seeing it. Shout out to TMZ. They're usually pretty accurate, but hearing from a person who's next to the person, I'm not buying it. Let me know what y'all think in the comments in the chat. We've got 16,000 of y'all up in this thing, and all of you have liked the video. Thank y'all so much. If you're just joining us, please like the video, and also welcome. I should say welcome to you before I start begging for you to like the video. So welcome to y'all that are just joining us. If you're new here, we welcome differing opinions on this channel. So if you haven't yet, say what's up in the chat. And if you feel differently or have an opinion different from what I'm saying, different from what's being said in the chat, you are more than welcome to share that here, because we don't just want to be in an echo chamber. We want to hear what people think. And I think that moves the conversation forward. As long as you're respectful, you're good to go. And we like the interaction here. And I love interacting with you guys in the chat too. So thank you to all 15,000 of y'all in the building. Let me see what you're saying in the chat. We got a couple super chats I want to get to. We got Amy with the cake. Thank you for the cake, Amy. I think I put that one up there earlier. Spring Flowers in here with the 5 bomb. What does she say? She says, scary world we live in. Glad you're safe. I'm glad everybody's safe, man. I mean, just the fact that I was just up there a couple days ago is it's crazy to think that happened. I'm a 3-time Trump supporter and highly doubt President Trump would let Diddy out early. Same here. And if he did, I would be disappointed. But I don't believe for a second, especially when it comes. I don't believe it for a second, especially when it comes to TMZ. Yep, 3-time. I'm a 3-time supporter as well, and it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. I mean, Diddy's looking at doing a max of 17 months, if we're being real, right? So I don't think it's going to happen. It doesn't make sense with everything going on right now. And Diddy, again, he spoke out against the president and he supported the president's opposition back in 2020 when he really, a lot of people think he should have won another term. So I don't know, man. Considering means he thought about it when they asked him. He's not considering it. Thank God for allowing this tragedy to be stopped. Thank God. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hallelujah. Amen and amen. Oh man. I cannot imagine that. That would have been tragic. Prison isn't the proper place for most criminals. I think that's a fair statement. Has anyone ever heard from Libby? She was a regular. Oh yeah, Libby 22 SC girl. Yeah, I don't know. Shout out to Libby. TMZ also stands by their statement when it comes to their employees not cheering and applauding when Charlie Kirk was. Yep. They've lost all credibility with me. I saw that too. That was kind of crazy. Yeah. They were talking about something else. They weren't even looking at Charlie Kirk. Yeah, I don't know about that one either. We'll have to wait and see. All right, it is time for our main event. The story you've all been waiting for. This one is going to be fun, and we're going to talk about it. Let me double check and update this. We got to put Karen Reed up here because I actually don't think I have a picture of Michael Proctor. Let me see. Do I? Nope, I don't. And who needs a picture of that guy anyway? Who needs a picture of that clown? This is absolutely hilarious news when it comes to the Karen Reed trial, when it comes to Michael Proctor, who was heavily involved in the Karen Reed trial. Michael Proctor has been fighting to get his job back, which is weird, right? So he went before in the appellate court. Hey, I shouldn't have been fired. I don't know what's going on. I've done a great job. Yuri's backing me up. Yuri Buchanan, remember him? He said, I have integrity. Y'all give me my job back. And he was fighting, pushing. And now we're finding out more information that not only is Michael Proctor giving up the fight, but it looks like they got a hold of a lot of his information and specifically text messages. And thousands of text messages were found on the iCloud from Michael Proctor. So not only do we have the information we got to see in the Karen Reed trial, it looks like there's more. We're going to talk about it here, and we're going to hear from NBC News in Boston and see what they have to say about this. Then we'll actually get into the court proceedings that they had from yesterday where they said, all right, Judge, we give up. Check this out.
Breaking news. Former State Trooper Michael Proctor has given up his fight to get his job back.
Proctor has decided to withdraw his appeal from the Civil Service Commission. Proctor's attorney spoke briefly to NBC 10 law enforcement reporter Robert Goulston about the decision. Robert is on it tonight and joins us live from Dedham, where other Proctor matters were discussed in court today. Robert?
JC and Glenn, yes, Proctor's attorney telling us that they decided to withdraw that appeal from the Civil Service Commission after getting some information. Wouldn't relate how much information or what that information involved, but they say it was not related to the Karen Reed trial. But also in court today, in court motions, we learned that 13 years of cell phone data from Proctor's phone that was deleted was located on a cloud.
What a clown. This guy's going to jail, man. This guy's going. Can y'all imagine with everything we saw that happened during the Karen Reed trial? 13 years. of this guy's text messages were found on the cloud, ooh-wee, it is not looking good.
Former state trooper Michael Proctor was scheduled to resume fighting for his job back at the state police in a civil service commission hearing this week. But we learned Monday Proctor signed a withdrawal of civil commercial appeal, meaning that he is not fighting to keep his job.
We are also allowed to produce to the parties in the court as long as it's filed under seal and an index.
At the same time, several defense attorneys in high-profile criminal cases that Proctor investigated, including Brian Walsh, are trying to secure Proctor-related investigatory evidence used in the Karen Reed case.
The order allows the Commonwealth to produce some grand jury materials to the defendants in those cases, provided that if they are filed under seal.
The defense attorneys also have a ruling from a judge on more access to Proctor's personal cell phone data,
which is going to grant access to the defendants to, information on the personal cell phone and the cloud. The district attorney's office said that they are presently underway in reviewing those materials and putting something together.
The defense attorneys say this information is key to their cases.
The implication, of course, in that material that is exculpatory or potentially exculpatory to the defendants.
You don't say.
And we also learned from the Norfolk DA's office that they are currently trying to put all of this personal cell phone data together. In fact, they asked the court for more time to do it because there's just so much of it. We're live tonight in Dedham. Robert Goulston, NBC 10 Boston.
Shout out to Dedham, man. And Amy actually posted this over on X again. If you're not following Amy on X, you need to make sure you do that, because she's posting up-to-date information and news on a lot of the stuff we cover here on the show. And she helps produce the show as well. You can follow her at IAMYLEIGH on X. That's at IAmyLee on X. She says, a new statement from Karen Reed's attorney, Alan Jackson, on Michael Proctor's withdrawing his appeal to get his job back with the state police. What did AJ have to say? He says Michael Proctor's sudden withdrawal of his appeal wasn't an act of humility. It was self-preservation. It's not going to help him much. He learned investigators have recovered text messages from his private phone dating back years, 13 years to be specific. And he wanted no part of those messages, of what those messages would reveal. He didn't accept accountability. It hunted him down. And as Colonel Noble has admitted, the years-long corruption is systemic. We've heard that as well. So let's go ahead and get into this article and get more information about what's going on with Michael Proctor. Shout out to News 10 again.
Job back. NBC 10's Katie Benoit joins us live in our studio this morning to explain what this means for other high-profile cases, too. Katie, good morning.
Good morning. Michael Proctor's Service Commission hearings were supposed to pick back up this week, but now he's withdrawn his appeal. Proctor was fired after sending inappropriate text messages while investigating Karen Reed. Several defense attorneys in high-profile criminal cases that Proctor investigated, including Brian Walsh's case, are trying to secure Proctor-related evidence used in the Karen Reed case. Walsh is accused of killing his wife.
Bad.
Defense attorneys also got a ruling from a judge on more access to Proctor's personal cell phone data,
which is going to grant access to the defendants to, information on the personal cell phone and the cloud. The district attorney's office said that they are presently underway in reviewing those materials and putting something together.
And a motion filed in court has also revealed that 13 years of data on Proctor's personal cell phone that was deleted has been discovered on the cloud. And a spokesperson for the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office said they've asked for more time to get that data together because of how large it is. Reporting live in the studio, Katie Benoit, NBC 10 News.
This guy is absolutely cooked. Former Massachusetts State Trooper Michael Proctor has stopped fighting to get his job back. Prosecutors' Service Commission hearing were supposed to resume this week, but he has withdrawn his appeal. Proctor was fired after sending inappropriate text messages while investigating Karen Reed. Several defense attorneys in high-profile criminal cases that Proctor investigated, including Brian Walsh's case, are trying to secure Proctor-related evidence used in Reed's case. And if they get their hands on this, can you imagine the misconduct? Can you imagine the corruption that they're going to find there? I mean, who is going to be exposed in these messages? Is Yuri up next? Did Yuri keep his nose clean? Several of the officers in the APD keep keep their nose clean, or in the BPD, excuse me. This is scary. And I wonder if Proctor, if he's worried now that these came out. Walsh is accused of killing his wife. Defense attorneys also got a ruling from a judge on more access to Proctor's personal cell phone data. A motion filed in court also revealed that 13 years of data on Proctor's personal cell phone that was deleted has been discovered on the cloud, and they're going to get it. A spokesperson for the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office said he has asked for more time to get that data together because of how large it is. This is going to be so bad for Michael Proctor. In the next video, we're actually going to move forward and get to the hearing and hear what was said by the judge, what was said by the defense, and it's going to get wild. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments in the chat. What does this mean for Michael Proctor? What does this mean for the Boston Police Department? Who was he texting back and forth with? I find it very hard to believe, seeing his conduct during the Karen Reed trial, that he's kept his nose clean and done things by the book for the past 13 years. So this is, if that gave us a glimpse into what Michael Proctor was like, can't wait to see what more information is shown about the past 13 years. Let me know what y'all think in the comments and in the chat. And we're going to get into the hearing here shortly. Y'all are going to love this. This is crazy, man. Shout out to the gang. The cloud gonna get you. We still got 15,000 of y'all in here. Thank you for liking the video as well. Sound is good now on my end. I just had to switch the videos real quick. Oh, okay, glad we're good. Look, this is going to wipe out from a donation. It all depends on who needs money and funding. Man. This is gonna be crazy. The sound is good. Okay, so it looks like the sound is good. Oh, that's weird. Unfortunately, his text could put real criminal cases in jeopardy because of his bad actions and behavior. That is true. Y'all are still saying the sound is glitching? Let me double check and make sure. Hopefully it's not a YouTube thing. Let me see. And now,
including Brian, of killing his wife.
Did Yuri keep his nose clean? It looks like several of the officers in the AP. Weird. Okay, we should be good. I think we're good now. Thank y'all for letting me know, though. Shout out to the gang for having my back. I think it might be a YouTube thing because we're good over here. You're good. You're good. You're good. Okay, cool. Let me double check and make sure we're good. Okay, here we go. For some reason, my chat is moving slow. Let me refresh this. My chat is struggling right now because I can't see y'all for some reason. And then we'll go ahead and get into this court proceeding here. J Money says he's good. Spring Flowers says I'm good. Okay. Yeah, that's weird. All right, let me go. We had a couple super chats I wanted to get to as well. And then once we get the super chats, we'll get right into the court proceedings. Shout out to, I said Spring Flowers. Spring Flowers. Drop the 5 bomb. Scary world we live in. Glad you're safe. Thank God for the APD. Mary again with the 2 bomb. Going crazy today. Says karma will always get her justice. Ain't that the truth? Michael Proctor is about to learn that lesson. I can't imagine that his 13 years worth of messages will be clean. So we're going to have to wait and see. Yeah, shout out to Xfinity. They'll be out here doing their thing. All right, so now that we know Michael Proctor has given up the fight and he's not trying to get his job back because he's scared, now that 13 years worth of his text messages were found on the cloud. This guy is going to be cooked. And now we're going to get into the court proceeding. We're actually going to hear from court, from the judge, from the defense on what's going to be done about these text messages, how they're going to handle it moving forward. Check this out. It's crazy.
So the entire universe of what the Commonwealth received from the feds,
the entire universe,
or the federal court, in connection with the Reed case, is now going to be turned over.
No.
Well, so that's my question.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question. I think, are you referring to the mention of TUI materials?
I am.
Okay, that was what was produced to the parties in Reed.
Okay.
So that is referred to as TUI materials for the purposes of what was produced to both the Commonwealth and the defense in Reed.
Right.
So this is a subset of those materials.
And the question is whether the obligation on the Commonwealth to review materials beyond what is contained in the order from Judge Casper
show us the goods,
is separately determined by the U.S. Attorney's Office regarding TUI materials. That is to say, the universe of confidential materials that we've been talking about for months.
Yes.
Okay? Is it all now going to be able to be reviewed by the Commonwealth and turned over to Defense Counsel, or only some subset covered by this order by Judge Casper?
We've already reviewed all the materials, and we had done that prior to the last court date before then.
Right.
We are only permitted to provide to Defense Counsel certain materials. These are the only materials that we sought permission after our review to provide. That is to say, the other materials, we did not believe met our obligations under Rule 14.
So you reviewed all the confidential information, and the only materials that you felt needed to be turned over.
They've seen everything. Wow.
Were the two categories of information contained in Judge Casper's order. All the rest, you did not seek authorization either through the U.S. Attorney's Office pursuant to TUI or from Judge Casper to turn over.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. And okay.
Wow.
I'll hear from the parties, the Defense Counsel, if they wish to address the court.
No, they're going to have to fight to get this.
So I guess I'll start, Attorney Krowski, on behalf of Mr. De Los Santos. My understanding of the order was that under the umbrella of grand jury, we are going to receive these materials, which would include all of the grand jury from the federal court, including any and all exhibits related to Trooper Proctor. It is my understanding, though, that there are
There may have been more than one exhibit. It seems like you only get one exhibit.
There are materials outside of what actually was presented in federal court that we are also going to have access to, and that would be information from the cloud and the personal cell phone of Trooper Proctor, if I'm understanding that correctly.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that I'm answering the question that's being asked, but separate from the motions regarding what was produced to both the defense and the Commonwealth pursuant to the TUI request. In
they don't want to give it up.
and Johnson et al., Judge Doolin had issued an order for Trooper Proctor's personal cell phone, the device, not the cloud, the device. And you modified that order. And we have been in the process of executing that order. And that is an entirely separate process from this.
Right.
Right. That's what I was saying. I just wanted to be clear on the record that this is not on these cases and these defendants. This is not the end of the issue as it relates to discovery related to Trooper Proctor.
Right, but I want to be clear about what this does and doesn't do, right? The Commonwealth has done its review on all the confidential information that was obtained from the federal court, has made a determination that what needs to be produced is certain things, and as I understand it, the only things that are authorized to be turned over by Judge Casper are those things that the Commonwealth has already predetermined are the things that need to be turned over to defense counsel in this case because they constitute exculpatory evidence. But they have reviewed other things and made a determination that those other things do not have to be turned over, are not exculpatory in any manner in which exculpatory has been construed. And so
no, we want it all.
it seems like the Commonwealth has discharged its obligation, has been authorized to discharge its obligation to review this information, the confidential information obtained from the feds, and has gotten the authorization to turn over the stuff they think needs to be turned over.
May I add two things?
Sure.
We also, because we want to be clear, as clear as we can be and as clear as the federal government will allow us to be, we sought permission to have the index, which I think is something that was discussed in hearings previously. So we also will have the index, which gives some idea of materials that we did not seek authorization to provide and do not have authorization to provide and are not providing. And then
and that's the index of other materials.
Correct.
Okay? And that will, between the stuff that is authorized to be produced and will be produced, subject to a protective order, and the index, the defense will know all of the stuff that you reviewed.
And in addition,
is that right?
That's correct. That's the intention, is so that there's not a big mystery about what the other materials were.
And that's a great point, man. Think about this. If Michael Proctor would have just let it go and gone ahead and got his management position at McDonald's, as he should have, would we have gotten to this point? Now, because he continued to fight and act like he did nothing wrong and beg for his job back from the Commonwealth, now we're at a point to where it's like, oh, hey, man, you want us to keep digging? We'll keep digging. You want to go through this process? Fine. But now you're going to put yourself in a worse position. And here we are. 13 years worth of text messages that somebody's going to see. And I hope it's us.
And in addition, and why those, as outlined in the U.S. Attorney's Office letter, why those other items are not Rule 14 material in these cases.
I'm sorry, the index indicates why they are not Rule 14?
It provides, the index itself doesn't provide that, but reading the index, I think, provides some information about why they're not Rule 14 material.
Okay.
And then finally, the order now contemplates, or orders, a return to destroy date of the other materials of October 31st.
I do have some concerns, obviously, in thinking about a reservation of rights on behalf of the defendants, because we're in this unique position here where the government is really the arbiter of what is or what is not Rule 14 exculpatory information. My concern is once we start getting into the actual discovery, it might become obvious to us that other information is out there that is not discovery. It's a very difficult thing from the position of a prosecutor to make a determination, not knowing the defendants and the defendant's theory of the case, what is or is not exculpatory. So I am concerned with these, quote, other materials being destroyed on October 31st, and I think there should be something put in place where we can at least have those documents set aside, not subject yet to any type of disclosure, but set aside for a potential future review.
So, Your Honor, this return or destroy provision, and I just want to make it clear that it is the intention of the District Attorney's Office to comply with the federal court order. We will be returning a set of documents and destroying all extra documents.
No.
So the defendants have had the ability to make TUI requests, to seek to intervene, and have not. We are confident that we have met our Rule 14 obligations, and I would tell the court, and the other assistant district attorneys who participated would tell the court if they were not confident. And again, I think the index will be helpful, and I'm able to provide that index today.
Let us see what happened.
Okay. I think what I will do is, in an abundance of caution, and against my better judgment, because I really don't want to have another hearing on this, but I will schedule a time to see anybody who wants to be heard on the issue of the other list sometime next week, after you folks have seen it and have had a week with it, to consider whether you think there's anything that you need to bring to the prosecutor's attention about the things that might be on that other list. You obviously don't have the other list, so you shoot blind right now, but you'll have it today, and you'll be able to come to some sort of conclusion as to whether you think, given the information on that list, you have some reason to believe that it would contain exculpatory information. based on the chronologies in your case or whatever else it is.
Step back to get my phone.
Sure.
He's giving them more time to review. Nah, we want to see it all.
Just so the record's clear, Mr. Walsh joins in exactly what Attorney Crosby was.
Okay.
I am back here on October 30th. I don't know if that's a good date for the parties. I don't know.
Well, it's certainly a good date for me. I can accommodate you on the 30th, but it's a little bit close to the destroy or return date, I would think.
I can't speak for Attorney Scapicio. It's really the only date next week I can do. I'm out of state in federal court at the beginning of the week. At least it gets me in here to preserve.
I'm happy to see you on the 30th. How does the 30th seem? Okay, Mr. Cataldo?
If I can't do it, one of my colleagues would be able to stand in for me, so yes.
Okay.
We can do the 30th.
How does that look for you, Attorney Beatty? Okay.
And if we could just approach.
Okay. 30th at 2.
All right, 30th at 2 o'clock. We're going to be there. Listen, guys. There's nothing good that can come out of this for Michael Proctor. And we're going to have to see what information comes out, what the judge decides, what the defense and prosecution decide with the evidence moving forward. But we're going to get this information one way or another. What do y'all think we're going to find? And is this going to impact cases that maybe Michael Proctor handled the right way? Someone mentioned it in the chat. Imagine if he had a murder case, handled everything the right way. The evidence was there. And now, because of something that happened during the past 13 years, the decision could be overturned. Ah, man, it's scary to think about. Let me know what y'all think in the comments in the chat. Proctor, man, he's in trouble. Shout out to the gang. We still got 14,000 of y'all up in this thing. 17,000 of you have liked the video. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I won't ask again for the rest of the show. We're gonna go ahead and keep it moving to our next topic. But before I do that, we've got a couple super chats I want to get to. Let me get Letitia James back up here. Letitia James, how are y'all feeling? I never understood Proctor's appeal approach. He was basically throwing his fellow officers under the bus, saying they all do the same thing and haven't gotten fired. What? Well, they did it. Did he think he would be welcomed back? I never understood when people did that. I never understood it. This particular Commonwealth has lost all credibility, in my opinion. I think that's like 99% of everyone's opinion. I don't think they can be trusted to determine what is or is not Rule 14 material, and should be handed over to the defense. Just hand it over. We don't have to do the back and forth. Hand it over. Let's get a FOIA request in there and see what we got going on. Karma's coming. It's unfortunate guilty people could benefit though. Yep, that's what we just talked about. Sound is good. Y'all said it sounds good. Sounds good. Jay Money said he's good. His Wi-Fi is on fire today. All right, go ahead. Shout out to Xfinity, man. Doing their thing over there. Not sponsored, by the way. We got a couple super chats I want to get to. Slim Life is up in here with the 5 bomb and says, hello to all. Stay blessed. You attract the energy you give off. Spread good vibes. Think positively. Enjoy life. Love y'all. Thank you for the support, Slim Life, and for showing up consistently as well. We've got Kara Hampton in here reminding us that let's have a great day on purpose. I love that. And Proctor can join the Devers. Shout out to Kara Hampton with the 5 bomb. Appreciate you. Thank you for the reminder. And have a great day on purpose, man. It's up to you. Take it 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day at a time. That's all you can do. That is all you can do. Let's get into Letitia James. We got some interesting smoke here. I'm gonna speed this up a little bit. No, I gotta leave it on normal because that's gonna mess me up. All right, let me double check and make sure we're good. Everybody's in here liking the video. Thank y'all. Let's go ahead and start talking about Letitia. So, as we know, Letitia James has been indicted, and it's been reported that she possibly could be facing more issues with this indictment. We're talking about mortgage fraud. We're talking about insurance fraud. We're talking about tax fraud. And it just continues to get worse. So we're actually going to hear from a former Kentucky Attorney General on his thoughts on the newly appointed lawyer or attorney who's going to be prosecuting and be trying this case against Letitia James, and what Letitia is going to have to fight and deal with this prosecutor. Check this out. Letitia James is up against by the book prosecutor who means business, says former Kentucky AG Cameron. What does he have to say? Daniel Cameron, former Kentucky AG, says that Trump nominated an attorney that means business in the mortgage fraud prosecution. So we're going to hear from him, and then we'll go on to actually hear another report talking about why this attorney and how this attorney was appointed. And there may be a possible issue there, could give Letitia a break. Let's see what's going on. Let's hear from Daniel Cameron, see what he has to say. Oh, of course, we ran into an ad. Y'all give me 2 seconds and then we'll skip this. I apologize. Get your money, Fox. I ain't mad at it.
I think maybe the biggest thing to note is that Lindsay Halligan means business, and she has been tasked with the responsibility of ensuring that no one is above the law in the Eastern District of Virginia, and she certainly is heeding that call and commitment and that responsibility, which I applaud. And then the other thing to note is that whether it's this case or the Comey case, she has been taking them to the grand jury. And I remind people that the grand jury process is a deliberative process. It's peers within the community that sit on that grand jury to ultimately make a decision about whether there's probable cause to move forward with an indictment. And that has happened in both of these instances. And as the facts are, and the other thing probably to note is that, Virginia is not a hotbed for conservatism. This is a jury or grand jury of peers that ultimately makes this indictment. And, when you look at the facts that are alleged, seems pretty cut and dry in the context of
it does.
General James and what was misrepresented on the loan documents, and whether it was a primary residence versus a rental property. You certainly have a responsibility to ensure that, documentation that you put forward is accurate. And, obviously you got to dot your I's and cross your T's. And, you think somebody that resides in New York would, be careful about talking about a property that's in Virginia and how they represent their use of that property.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it seems, again, based on the facts that are alleged in the indictment, pretty cut and dry. And, this is something that probably should have, been more carefully presented when it came to those documents, as opposed to, what ultimately transpired and perhaps the reasons around it. Obviously, Lindsay and the U.S. Attorney's Office will have to make the case in front of a jury if this goes to trial. But yes, I think, whether you're an attorney general or any sort of public official, or you're running for public office, look at Jay Jones in Virginia. What a just horrific and abhorrent set of comments that he made regarding another public official in Virginia. Those sorts of comments are just beyond the pale. I think he should resign or drop out of the race, candidly. They've already got a great attorney general there in General Miyares. But yeah, whether it's General James in New York or this guy that's running in Virginia, you got to ensure that people are aligning themselves with the public trust, because at the end of the day, these are offices that are elected, and people want to make sure that you're doing things the right way.
Yeah,
and,
as you should be.
Based on the allegations in the indictment, it doesn't appear that happened with Ms. James. Well, I think probably the biggest thing to note related to the facts alleged in the indictment in the federal case against General James is that in New York, it appears, based on public record, that she has, or in her office, have filed suit and pursued investigations and prosecutions against people based on similar fact patterns. And so this is not weaponization. This is about no one being above the law. And again, whether it's the Department of Justice or the individual U.S. attorneys across this country, there's a responsibility to follow the law wherever
It
it may
seems
lead.
like an easy thing.
I appreciate the work that's been done on that front. And, the Democrats, are going to rally around General James. But as you note, when she ran in one of her elections to Attorney General, she made it like centerpiece of her race that she was going to pursue indictments against President Trump. And so there's certainly some hypocrisy there. There's no question about that.
Yeah, no one is above the law, right? Isn't that what she said? No one's above the law. Is it a thing or not? So, Letitia, did you break the law or not? It's time for you to be held accountable. And I hear what Daniel's saying. I think this is going to be an interesting battle. We've already seen a lot of evidence that's been released. We've heard from forensic accountants who are saying this might be tough for Letitia. But when it comes to Lindsay Halligan, we might have an update here that says what goes into this indictment, or what went into this indictment, might not be everything that it seems. Because we heard from Fox, we're going to hear from the other side and go over to CNN, see what they have to say about Letitia James and what's going on with this newly appointed attorney, Lindsay Halligan. Check this out.
James Comey's attorneys are arguing that Lindsay Halligan was improperly appointed to her role. Trump's handpicked U.S. attorney in Virginia is attracting scrutiny for another reason. Lindsay Halligan reportedly spent some 33 hours on and off during a recent weekend texting with a reporter. Not in regards to Comey's case, but that of another one of the president's targets, New York Attorney General Letitia James. It was reporting on that case that kickstarted this back and forth that you're about to see. Let me explain. Anna Bauer is a senior editor for the nonprofit publication Lawfare. She recently posted about a New York Times story concerning the case that was being made against the New York Attorney General, and Halligan is the person, of course, who presented that case to the grand jury. Less than an hour after Bauer posted about it, Halligan messaged her directly on the encrypted app Signal that reporters often use.
Oh, here we go.
And according to Bauer, Lindsay Halligan wrote, quote, "Anna, Lindsay Halligan here. You're reporting things that are simply not true. Thought you should have a heads up." What followed that initial text was more than a day of text insisting that the reporting from the New York Times was inaccurate.
Wow.
Now, Bauer hadn't reported that, but because she had repeated it online, Halligan was going back and forth with her on the merits of that reporting. Then, after a few hours, Halligan wrote, "By the way, everything I ever sent you is off record. You're not a journalist, so it's weird saying that, but just letting you know." Bauer responded, quote, "I'm sorry, but that's not how this works. You don't get to say that in retrospect."
Oh,
she then tonight posted
Lindsay.
the entire text chain to Lawfare. And Anna Bauer is my source here tonight. And thank you so much, Anna, for being here, because I'll tell you, I know a lot of Trump people who are sending this story around when they first saw it. I just wonder, what was your reaction when Lindsay Halligan first reached out to you?
Yeah, I was really surprised, and honestly, I was very curious to hear what she had to say. For some background, Caitlin, I did not have a pre-existing relationship with Lindsay Halligan in terms of speaking to her as a reporter. We had met one time many years previous while I was reporting on Trump's criminal investigations and criminal cases. She was on that criminal defense team, but other than that, she was very much a stranger to me, essentially. So when I learned that she actually was texting me, or I suspected that it really was Lindsay Halligan, I was interested to hear what she had to say. I report on the cases that she is prosecuting, and so I was curious, but it seemed like mostly what she wanted to talk to me about was a tweet that I wrote that summarized the New York Times reporting concerning certain grand jury testimony in the Letitia James case. And I think that's what really struck me as so surprising, is that, it's very much not often that you see a sitting United States attorney who unsolicited reaches out to a reporter to talk about something that relates to an ongoing prosecution,
Wasn't a
that
smart
relates
move.
to grand jury testimony potentially, because those are the kinds of things that there's policies, there's laws that prohibit disclosure about that kind of information. So while I don't think it's very unusual to have a prosecutor reach out about that subject matter, I did find it really strange, and especially considering we didn't have a pre-existing reporter-source relationship.
Yeah, because obviously reporters are trying to, reach out to people all the time, talk to them, get context, obviously to make sure reporting is accurate and fair. But because you were contacted out of the blue, I mean, I imagine you were a little bit suspicious of whether it was even actually her at the beginning.
That's weird that she contacted her.
Yeah, and there were a few things that we did to confirm that it was actually her. So one thing is, as I mentioned, we had previously met one time several years before. She was able to answer questions that suggested to me it likely was Lindsay Halligan, because she was able to say where we first met and who she was with. And then we later were able to obtain her phone number, which then connected to the existing conversation that we had. And then finally, right before we went to publication, we reached out for comment through the Public Affairs Office at the Department of Justice. They confirmed that that these were text messages with Lindsay Halligan, and right before we were about to publish, she also additionally reached out to me again, and as you mentioned, claimed that our conversation was off the record.
Interesting.
Caitlin, I would encourage people to read the text messages that we published, and they can decide for themselves, but Lindsay Halligan never once suggested that we were off the record. She had reached out to me. You know as well as I do, Caitlin, in dealing with speaking to sources, that the way that it works is there's an agreement, there's a conversation that is had about it. And I never agreed to speak off the record. She never suggested it. I would have been happy to speak with her off the record had she suggested it, but she did not do that here. So I was very surprised when she, suddenly suggested that things were off the record when they in fact were not.
Wow.
Yeah, generally that's something.
So we're going to have to look at those text messages and see what happened. What do y'all think about this? Is it something? Is it nothing? Is this just a ploy by Letitia James' defense team trying to say, we got to find something because Letitia is not looking great? Or is there something there? Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments and in the chat. Interesting stuff. Thank you to all 14,000 of y'all that are in the building. Almost near 15 now. And I see a couple of y'all are commenting on this too. CNN is all political revenge. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, CNN is a mess. Let's not forget that Letitia James was harboring a bunch of folks in her house. Amy said both of her nieces, one has an OF. Yeah. Hey, yo. Anyway. Liv says lock her up. Dang. Shout out to Les Cleaver back in the building. That Virginia home is nothing but a getaway house for James's family. It seems like it. She had some interesting characters posted up in that house. So it's weird that an AG would do something like that. You think you would want to keep your record clean, but this is also New York, with all due respect to New York. So take that for what you will. Let me see if I could find this next one. Here we go. We've got one more thing we have to talk about. And this is a personal, interesting one to me because we've been covering this here on the channel. And I don't think a lot of people have talked about what's going on with this situation. So let me double check and make sure I didn't miss any super chats. And thank you again to everybody who's shown some major support and love by sending in super chats too. We've got, okay, we should be good to go. Yeah, I've only been pulling up CNN just because people are like, oh, we want to hear from the other side. And I try and get another perspective. So I think it's good to hear both sides. Where were those IRS people, Joe? We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. So we're going to talk about Tyrone Blackburn. I know Tyrone Blackburn has been running into issues the entire time we've been covering him on this channel. He has a lawsuit he's fighting against Fat Joe in one instance. We've heard him mentioned in other instances, right? So we've got Joe Tacopina and Fat Joe versus Tyrone Blackburn, all right, and Terrence Dixon. So if you don't know about those cases, I did other videos on those. I'll leave a link in the description to them. But now Tyrone Blackburn was being served by one of Joe Tacopina's process servers, and he allegedly ran over this process server with his car. Now, it wasn't as dramatic as it sounds. If you read the actual incident, it doesn't sound that crazy, but it looks like he is being charged with assault. And we're going to get into it here. Shout out to Lauren Conlin over on X. She says, breaking, Lil Rod Jones and Terrence Dixon's attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, has been indicted for an incident in June of this year involving a process server sent by Joe Tacopina. Blackburn allegedly mowed the man down. The indictment remains sealed, but the docket indicates Blackburn is due back in court on October 23rd, which is 2 days from now. The top charge is recklessly causing serious injury with a weapon. Y'all can see that there. Blackburn and his client, former Fat Joe hype man Terrence Dixon, are currently being sued by Fat Joe for defamation following Dixon's June 2025 civil lawsuit. Fat Joe's attorney, Tacopina, Joe Tacopina, he told her exclusively that he is a guy who hides his extortionate acts behind a law license. Hearing he was indicted by a grand jury for felony assault is not surprising at all. Shout out to Joe Tacopina. And what do we have here? Look at these counts. We've got this count here. What's the description? It's hard to read. He injured a victim 65 or older. Assault with intent to cause physical injury using his car. He's got assault, it looks like, with intent to cause serious injury. We've got, let's see, leaving a fail to show. So he didn't show up for a court. Assault 3 with intent to cause physical injury. Recklessly causing physical injury. Menacing. Second weapon. Criminal possession. All right. We've got reckless driving, harassment, and physical contact. What a clown this guy is. This is a disgrace and an embarrassment to lawyers. Let's be real. Lawyer suing Fat Joe, TMZ says, indicted after allegedly mowing down process server. Tyrone Blackburn and the lawyer that is suing Fat Joe has been indicted for allegedly running over a process server with his car. Check this out. Law enforcement sources confirmed to us that Blackburn has been officially indicted over the alleged May incident, though we're told the indictment will remain sealed until his arraignment, which is coming up. Tyrone Blackburn was arrested in June after cops say he got into his vehicle while a 66-year-old process server was giving him papers connected to the Fat Joe case. All right, Tyrone Blackburn then allegedly put his car in reverse and hit the process server in the leg, causing a somewhat major knee injury that the server claims he needed surgery to fix. Dang! Blackburn represents Terrence Dixon, who sued Fat Joe for millions, alleging he helped Fat Joe write music. Later on, Dixon and Blackburn filed another lawsuit accusing Joe of engaging in intimate relationship with a minor. In the lawsuit, Joe's attorney, Joe Tacopina, said that he was full of lies. And his lies intended to damage his reputation and force a settlement through public pressure. Tyrone Blackburn was booked on assault about 6 weeks after the alleged incident is said to have taken place. Let's hear what Joe had to say at the time, because it's always good to hear from Joe Tacopina. Hopefully they don't make me play this ad again. It might not go through. Hold on a second, y'all. Let me see if I can figure this out. I think it's TMZ's website is tripping. There we go. Let me try this one more time, and we'll see what Joe had to say here. Here we go. All right, I think I got it. Boom.
This twist of him allegedly driving over your process server.
How'd that go down?
You could take allegedly out of that question, but it went down where a 66-year-old guy who was hired just to do a job of serving a lawsuit on this guy decided he wasn't going to accept service. He didn't want to be served, so he took his car and ran into him.
How is he?
He's okay. I mean, he has some. He's 66. You know, not the youngest guy in the world, but he has some damage. He went to the hospital. He has some leg, damage, but he's
going to
okay.
be okay.
Messed up this guy's knee.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to be okay. He's going to be okay. They issued an arrest warrant, and they arrested him this morning, which comes, by the way, as no surprise to me at all, guys. No surprise. It's just the latest example of his malicious and manipulative pattern of misconduct. Finally coming to light. He really is an embarrassment to the legal community. This guy, it's a disgrace watching him use the court system to shield his extortionate tactics. Two federal judges, listen to what I'm about to say to you guys. Two federal judges in the same courthouse, Southern District of New York, have already said to him in writing, in filings on two separate cases, that he's misusing the court system to embarrass people, to garner publicity for himself, to misstate facts, misapply the law that he doesn't clearly know. If two federal judges said that about me and wrote that in an opinion, which is in our complaint, I would go serve espressos at Starbucks for the rest of my life. Don't forget how this went down, guys.
McDonald's, yeah.
This went down where he initially made a demand, this Dixon, to Fat Joe. He was a hype man, literally a hype man. Guy who jumps around and hypes people up. That's all he did. From 15 years ago, by the way. So he then said, "Oh, well, I wrote half your songs. Give me $3 million." And Fat Joe was like, "Huh? What are you talking about?" That was the end of that. So because they didn't reply to that, because he didn't get money from that, the next letter from Blackburn came saying, "Yeah, I wrote half your songs. Give me money for that. And also I saw you have sex with minors." Like, wait, what? Where did that come from? How did that miss the first letter, the first demand? I mean, it's so pathetic. And look, we've spoken to some of the people he claims this happened to in the lawsuit. Unfortunately, he hasn't. What you've discovered is he didn't, from what you found, that he didn't vet these claims at all before filing this lawsuit. Correct. One of the people don't even know who Fat Joe is. So anyway, this is all going to come out. This is why we litigate. But this today's news is just this. It should be shocking when a lawyer gets arrested. It should be shocking when a lawyer gets arrested for committing felony assault on someone. But unfortunately and sadly, it's not shocking with this guy.
Nope. And there's going to be more to come. All right. Also, Lauren Conlon says that Fat Joe's attorney, Joe Tacopina, said this, and we just read that earlier. He's a guy who hides his extortionate acts behind a law license. Hearing he was indicted by a grand jury for felony assault is not at all surprising. That, coupled with everything else multiple courts have condemned him for, make it clear that he needs to get help, and I hope he does. Joe is 1000% right. And shout out to Lauren Conlon for that. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. What's going to happen to Tyrone Blackburn, and why hasn't something happened yet? I mean, a judge accused him of using ChatGPT to write some of his filing, which is crazy. I want to know what y'all think, man. Shout out to the gang. Thank you to everybody who's in here. Still 13,000 of you in the building. Let me see what y'all have to say about Tyrone Blackburn. Nothing. How can you run over a 66-year-old? They move slow. Some 66-year-olds, they just can't move like that. Talking about Letitia James, she literally ran her entire campaign on getting Trump without being in office yet and ever looking at any evidence first. That's what they did. And it worked. I mean, it got her reelected. So what are you going to say? We're going to get up out of here. Thank y'all again for the love. Big shout out and thank you to everyone who stopped by for the first time. Thank you to all 17,000 of you that liked the video. Wow. And a special shout out to everyone who sent in super chats. Les Cleaver, Mary, Spring Flowers, Slim Life New Jersey, Karen Hampton, and then of course my awesome, amazing Amy E up in here. Hope y'all have a great rest of your afternoon. Thank you for continuing to show up and consistently showing up and showing love and giving us a great interactions here in the chat as well. Y'all let me know what you think if you're watching on the replay. Thanks for the replay, gang. And we will be back here tomorrow, so y'all don't want to miss out. If you haven't yet subscribed, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time we go live or drop a new video. Y'all have a great rest of your day. And as always, you know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We gone. Peace. Appreciate y'all. Hope